Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the Carta Magica webcam regionals that happened this past weekend. It was just over 174 players, 8 rounds of Swiss to this top 16 we see here today. And it's also streamed on their Carta Magica Twitch channel, which was hosted by Espira as well. So make sure to check that out. Highly recommend it. And real quick before we get into this one, we do have all these deck lists on my website, so make sure to check that out. And also, this is kind of like the end of an era for BT20, not only with the release of BT20 later this month, but also since the ban list is so large, we rarely get leader bans, but getting three for this new meta is really interesting. And obviously Gamma and SS4 was very present for this top 16, getting 6 of the 16 spots. And just in general, we do have this leader breakdown with shoutouts to Eric for getting me this as well. But we do see a good chunk of the leaders that are getting banned. The SS4, the Gamma, is also the Sin, which really interesting that Sin didn't top this week or last week, even though I think it is one of the stronger decks in this format. It just wasn't able to get there, which is really interesting. So in general, looking at this leader breakdown again, SS4, we have SS Vegeta, which has been getting more and more popular. I think as the meta has been going on, it's been getting a couple tops and wins around the world. Also, Golden Frieza has been popular pretty much since the beginning of this year. Self-control Aandroidd 21 getting more people on it for this weekend, but less people on in this top 16, which is interesting, which also means that there are only 4 copies of Aandroidd 21 from BT20, and all 4 of them top 16, which is really interesting. And then also King Piccolo also not being able to clinch a top 16. And then the rest, there's just so many people on so many decks, which I think is really interesting for this card game where, this game's been around for so long and there are so many different viable leaders for people to test out and bring. It's really, really cool to see that, even, about half of the top, or half of the entire field for this event is just people running their own leaders and leaders that they like, which I think is really interesting. So we're going to go into the deck list, and real quick, we're not going to go over either Gamma or SS4. I'm just pretty much done going over those decks. I don't really have much more to say about them. Congratulations to all of our players, including Jared, for getting another first place with Gamma. Really great performance there. Congratulations to him. But we're going to go starting off with our second place. So this is Daniel's second place version of Aandroidd 21, which I think people will be on this a little bit more with Gamma getting hit, either this one or the other one, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is still just a generically good blue-green Aandroidd deck, and I would assume Jared might be on this, but he also might be on the new green Sun Gohan when that comes out in BT21. But obviously this deck's been pretty understood since it came out. It's kind of in a weird spot that it does better when other people are playing blue green in the same meta, so that might be different depending on what we're seeing in BT21. But obviously a lot of good control, a lot of good end game conditions for you. The secret rare for this deck I still think is absurdly good. I think Gamma is still the better leader for it, even though it's meant to be for Aandroidd 21, but still a really good secret rare. And I think it is I think this is really what helps carry this leader in this meta sometimes, because sometimes it can be a little bit slow, sometimes it can be a little bit clunky with your hands, but still a very, very strong card there. So there we have that. Nothing else I really want to talk about for Z deck or side, just kind of understood there. So congratulations to Daniel for their second place finish there. Next up we have Christopher. We're skipping to 11th place, but Christopher with his self-control Aandroidd 21. Again, this is the only one that didn't make it to the top 16, and I personally like this playstyle a little bit more. Obviously the leader is a little bit I don't know, it's a little bit neater in my mind. The permanent's really cool in the sense the playstyle because of the permanent is really cool. So when you get your cycle, when you have put cards into the drop area from your energy, which is neat, and just kind of having the additional energy and just kind of everything else like that. So we have that. I didn't mention it earlier, but Kusu's just been a stronger card I think lately too. I know that it's been kind of teched every once in a while, but it's just a really good counterplay for both players for both turns, and can help you with your floodgates a lot of the time too. So I think that's really helpful. It doesn't stop the floodgate because it is just a counterplay, play this card, but I do like the idea of the card. And then, I do like the fact that, this is kind of, can be like a burn deck too with the bad omens and just kind of how the play style works too. So don't have much more to say. Congratulations to Christopher for their finish there. Next up, we have Robert Rietze's third place SS Vegeta, and I've said before, this deck's been getting more and more popular as this meta's developed, and we don't really, it's been a minute since we've had more of an aggressive kind of yellow deck in a lot of ways. More so, we have kind of like the more mid range, or kind of like the obnoxious, like almost I wouldn't say like full control, but just like the like very value based yellow decks. And I still think this deck is value based, but the fact that you're just so aggressive with how the deck works and how it goes, it's just a little different of a play style for it. So I do think like there's a lot of strength in what this deck can do, how much pressure can be in, and you can just see like yellow's like the king of like tech cards. There's just so many like 1s and 2s we can see in here that just get a lot of benefit for you. Ideally, cards I kind of focus on are one, we know you do run your floodgates, but only because they're just so cheap. The worst case, they're 5k counters and you're not really worried about it. So Vegito and Mecha Frieza are just still very good cards. Bardock being able to get a free play, which being able to play a 15k for free is really, really nice in a lot of ways if you're trying to just pressure a lot of damage. Meta Cooler is I love this card. I think this is very, very good for yellow, just being able to get the free play from that as well as a counter. Bardock for some more cycling. The Zarbons, which have been good for the servant cards, mostly just the Vegeta there, but being able to get it back into active mode I think is strong for you too, and with no actual cost, right, which I think is really nice. Poutine's getting a little bit of a comeback, and then just a bunch of additional extra cards. So Time Magic's been interesting. Frieza, Tyrannical Blow, Black Kamehameha, just our general suspects there. So that's kind of it. I will say that it's interesting that we don't have like the SS3 Goku is in the not even the side that a lot of people play. You can play and get the free restand if everything's tapped out. So interesting to see not in this one, because I see most people just they tech like 1 or 2 copies of it, but they're not in this one. And then again, generically, the Z deck for this deck is pretty understood, I think, in a lot of ways too at this point. So anyways, this is the list. Congratulations to Robert for their finish there. Next up, we have Dane's Son Goku, Another World Fighter, and I did do an interview with him. It is on my channel. I can link it in the description, and it's linked on the Eggman events page as well. But really, really fun leader. I know Dane's been on it for a long time. It's very polarizing in its play style. I think it's something that you have to generate a weird amount of advantage, but there is a way for you to generate a lot of advantage with this deck, which is neat. And it's something else of just a fact of like if your opponent's not used to playing against this deck, you can get a lot of value too. So I'm not going to say much more in this video. If you guys want to see our in-depth breakdown of this leader and this deck, make sure to check out the interview I did with Dane this past day as well. And then to wrap it up, we do have Eric Hill's Ultimate Form Golden Frieza, and this is kind of as I was talking about earlier, the SS Vegeta is more aggressive. This is definitely more of like the obnoxious, like mid-range value-based train where you get so much advantage from what you're able to do with it. This the fact that you also are a leader that is yellow but also gets to untap energy is very strong too. So let me see. Nothing too crazy for this build too. We know that Cisneros is something that's been very, very strong in a lot of ways. It's fantastic how good this card is. It's really, really working for its price and in that way. But this card really does everything. It's very strong in yellow, and it's unfortunately needed, I think, in a deck like this. We'd also have some cards like our secret rare of choice is the Golden Cooler Radiant Pride. So when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, send them to their owner's warp, and then your opponent chooses 5 cards in their hand and adds the rest to their Z energy. Then this gains barrier. And then activate main for 5 of your opponent has 4 or more energy. You get to play this card from your hand and activate main or battle. If this card is in rest mode, it plays 2 of your opponent's Z energy into its owner's drop here. You get to switch it to active mode. So obviously this can get floodgated a little bit, but being able to put your opponent down to 5 cards in hand is pretty strong. And I think like my only issue with this secret rare and other decks is that you're a little bit worried to play this and then be kind of tapped out. But with the add of like Higher Dragon, where you can use this, and if you have this out, you can play a 1-drop yellow card, and then you can use your Frieza effect to get the untap with it. I'm moderately less afraid to do so. So I think that can be strong for this deck. And then just a bunch of one-ofs, one-ofs for this deck too. So Lord Slug, Frieza, the SS3 Goku that I was talking about earlier that Rietze didn't run in his build, the Absolute Annihilation for extra cards, and then just everything everything else. So and then just more one-ofs too for this one. And yeah, I don't know. I think going Frieza is really good. I really like this deck a lot. It's one of my favorite decks in this format, to be honest. And it's I'm really happy that it's still, you know, like surviving here in this format. And you know, even though it's like one of our first leaders in this card game too. So, anyways, that's that, and that's going to be my breakdown for this event too. So again, thank you so much to Carta Magica for supplying these deck lists. Really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy this breakdown too. I do know it's like the end of the meta, and we have BT21 ahead of us, but that should be it for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you all next time.